Project 613, day 154. The Holy Temple was the holiest place on earth, and there were many different areas in the temple where different things happened, and there were restrictions, rules, and regulations of who is allowed to be where. The holiest spot in the Holy Temple was the Holy of Holies. That was the place where during the First Temple era, the Holy Ark was kept there. In the Holy Ark were the 2 tablets which were given to Moses. No one was allowed in that room. Not a Kohen, not even a high priest was allowed to go in there. And if anyone walked in there any day of the year, they were punished by death from heaven. There was one day a year when only one person was allowed to walk into that room, and that was Yom Kippur. The high priest would go in there in order to do some of the service that was necessary for the day of Yom Kippur. Otherwise, no one was allowed inside there. Right outside of the Holy of Holies was the sanctuary. That was the room where the menorah, the table of the showbread, and the incense altar were kept. In that room, only Kohanim were allowed to enter when they were doing a service or prostrating themselves before God. Otherwise, even a Kohen, a priest, was not allowed to enter that space. There's a lot of talk in Judaism about ritual purity and impurity. For the most part, these laws are only relevant with regard to the Holy Temple. In order to enter the Holy Temple, one needs to be ritually pure. The different laws, the rules, the mitzvahs associated with ritual purity and impurity, how to identify ritual impurity, how does one purify themselves, these are mitzvahs we're going to learn later on. But the mitzvah we learned today is the positive commandment to eject anyone that is ritually impure from the Holy Temple area. This is a positive commandment for the Jewish people to ensure that someone who is defined as ritually impure should not be in the Holy Temple area. And the negative commandment that a ritually impure person is not allowed to enter the Holy Temple area. And in addition to that, another negative commandment that the ritually impure person is not allowed to enter the Temple Mount area. Let's go back to the priests who were serving in the Holy Temple. If a priest was in the middle of doing a service, he was offering a sacrifice, he was sprinkling blood on the altar, he was offering incense, there's a negative commandment prohibiting that priest from leaving the temple area while engaged in the service. He must finish the service and then he leaves the temple area. One of the reasons a priest would leave the temple area suddenly is if he was notified of the death of a next of kin. If he's in the middle of the service, he should finish the service. However, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, never leaves the temple area. Even if he is notified of the death of the next of kin, he continues to serve in the temple and has no obligation. In fact, is prohibited from joining the funeral procession because he is the high priest. Thank you all for watching. More tomorrow.